Ramadan. Ramadan is a holy month for Muslims that happens during Ramadan, and what does it means to millions of Muslims worldwide. Do the preparation task first, then read the article and do the exercises. What is Ramadan? Ramadan is a very special time for Muslims all over the world. Observing Ramadan is one of the five pillars of Islam. During Ramadan, all Muslims over the age of about 12, with some expectations, are expected to fast between dawn and sunset. When does it take place? Ramadan is the ninth month of the Islamic calendar, which follows the phases of the moon. This means the dates of Ramadan changes each year. The months start when the new crescent moon is first visible in the night sky. Fasting ends with the arrival of the next lunar month, which starts with the first glimpses of the new crescent moon. How do people fast? During Ramadan, the day starts early so that people can eat a pre-fast meal before dawn. This meal is called suhoor is important as it will keep them going through the day. During daylight hours, fasting Muslims cannot eat food or drink water or any other drinks. In late spring or early summer, this is particularly difficult as the day can be very long. People who live in polar region where daylight can last 22 hours or more can choose to follow the dawn and sunset times in Mecca or a nearby country where the sky is dark at night. Are all Muslims expected to fast? Not all Muslims are expected to fast. Children under the age of 12, people who are traveling, elderly people, pregnant women, and others where it may affect their health are exempt. Those who can't fast for any reason can offer to feed poor people for each day they miss during Ramadan. What happens on sunset? People can eat and drink again once the sun has set. The traditional way to break the fast is by eating dates and drinking a glass of water. Then the evening meal, iftar, is a social event that can go on for hours. It is common for people to eat together in a large group of family and friends. Special foods are prepared out and shared, and desserts are particularly popular. Muslims often include charity in iftars as well, sharing iftar with members of the community who cannot buy or make their food. Across the Muslim world, mosques and ads or organization setups tents and tables for the public in poorer communities to eat free iftar meals every night of Ramadan. Why do people fast? Muslims fast during Ramadan to bring them closer to God and to remind them of the suffering of people who are less fortunate than themselves. Fasting is an exercise in self control as well as not eating, drinking or smoking. Muslims try to avoid bad actions like talking about people behind their backs or using bad language. Ramadan is a time for people to work on being more patient, more tolerant and more mindful of the people around them. It is moment to reflect and work on being better people. Many Muslims also donate money to charities during the month, and a lot of Islamic charities organize food packs for people in poorer countries or refugee camps. Giving donation to charity known as zakat is particularly important during the holy month, and so is prayer, meditation, and reading the Quran. How is the end of Ramadan celebrated? Eid ul Fitr marks at the end of the month of fasting. There are many Eid traditions, mainly centered around family food, generosity, and festivities. On Eid ul Fitr, Muslims wake up early and dress in their finest clothes to attend the Eid prayer. After prayer, they wish each other a happy Eid before spending before spending the rest of the day with their extended families, enjoying good food, and sharing gifts with children and loved ones. Lunar New Year. Were you born in the year of the dog, the monkey, or maybe the rooster? The lunar calendar is based on the cycle of the moon, so that of New Year, lunar New Year is different each year. However, it is usually in January or February. As well as being celebrated in China, Lunar New Year is also an important festival in many other places, including Vietnam, Singapore, and Korea. Each year is named after one of the 12 animals. A traditional story explains how this came to be. One day, the emperor decided to have a race for all the animals in the country. Unfortunately, only 12 animals actually managed to get to the race. The emperor rewarded them by naming the 12 years of the lunar calendar after them. The first to finish was the rat, so the first year is named after him. The other 11 in order were the ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. A family celebration. Different places celebrate in slightly different ways, but Lunar New Year is very much a family celebration whenever it takes place. The younger generation greet their parents and grandparents with good wishes for the year ahead and show their respect for the older generation. In Korea, this is called Sebi. The young people kneel on the ground and bow deeply. Older members of the family gives younger ones cash presents, traditionally in small packets. Red packets are used in China and Vietnam as red is a lucky color. Nowadays, many people send money electronically too. It is lucky to send money in a certain amount, for example, using number 8, which, which in Chinese sounds like the word prosper. Traditional food. Traditional foods which are eaten at Lunar New Year often have another meaning. For example, in China, many people eat fish dishes because the Chinese word for fish sounds similar to surplus, meaning you will have plenty. In Korea, people serve a special soup. Thin pieces of rice cake are boiled in a clear soup with slice of beef and vegetables. The rice cake pieces are round and may represent coins and money. It is said that eating this soup at New Year makes you 1 year older. People joke that if you have two bowls of soup, you will be 2 year older. Traditional Vietnamese food is square rice cake wrapped in leaves. It's stuffed with pork and vegetable and takes many hours to prepare. So many people buy the cake instead of making it. Other traditionals, there are many other lunar New Year traditionals. For example, in Vietnam, people believe that the first person to enter their home in the new year will decide their fortune for the year ahead. They are careful to invite someone who is kind, well behaved, and successful. In Korea, families often play traditional board games together, such as Yunori. In this game, teams take it in turns to throw their specially shaped sticks into the air. They move around the board depending on how the sticks falls. In China, many people have firecrackers which burn and make a long, loud bang. They watch street performances where aerobatic dancers dress up as a lion or a dragon. They dance accompanied by music and drums. People celebrate Lunar Year in many different ways, but all the celebrations are about wishing everyone the very best for the year ahead. What do you wish for the next year? Carnival. Carnival is an annual festival celebrated in many different ways in many countries around the world. Some of the world's most famous carnivals are held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, New Orleans, USA, and Venice, Italy. Find out what happens in these and one other carnival you may not have heard of. What's Carnival all about? Carnival is a festival that happens over a few days, usually just before Lent, in February or March, because traditionally many people on a fast during Lent, giving up meat, sugar, or other foods and drinks. Carnival is an opportunity to enjoy these treats for the last time. It is a time to celebrate and party with music and dancing in the streets. Some people believe that Carnival is actually older than the Christian period of Lent and that it is started as a Roman festival of Saturnalia. New Orleans. One of the most famous carnival is the word is in the New Orleans, USA. It is called the Mardi Gras, which is French for Fat Tuesday. The day when people would traditionally eat up all the fat before starting the Lent fast. The celebration in New Orleans lasts around 2 weeks with a parade every day. Group of people called crews dress up in special costumes and ride on decorated floats. They throw small gifts to people watching, especially strings of beads. There are also many balls, especially masked balls. Mardi Gras is very popular with the tourists, and it is estimated that all that well other a million people visit every year to join the celebrities. Rio de Janeiro. The carnival in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil is considered the biggest in the world, with around the 2 million people celebrating on the street each day. Rio de Janeiro is famous for its samba music and for the amazing costumes and floats. In 1984, the government decided to give the carnival a special stadium called the Samba Dome, where people could buy tickets to go and see the parades. However, there are still plenty of street parties and parades happening all over the city. The parades are a kind of competition, and the samba schools or groups are judged on their costumes, dancing, floats, and music. Some samba schools spend millions of dollars on their presentation, but it is estimated that Carnival makes over 40 millions from tickets sales and advertising.